Wave's probably the closest that you're going to get because he's a player that practices with a lot of pros and has hit top 100 legend a couple times. A lot of high-end players know of him or who he is because of his competing at the higher ends of Legends. So,
yeah. Hunter against Mage. Seems like a mid-range Hunter since we do see Lotheb. Matchup that's really decided a lot early game. Whoever gets to early game can probably snowball the game. There's not a lot of healing on either side. Both sides have a lot of face damage and burn to finish off. So most important cards for the Tempo Mage is probably Mana Worm, definitely, and Mad Scientist. Both cards are very helpful early. Flamewaker also another really important card. Did decide to keep the Flamewaker.
Yeah, the Sorcerer's Apprentice into Flamewaker Arcane Missiles is a pretty strong combination.
Yeah.
Even just Flamewaker Coin Arcane Missiles is 7 missiles total, if you can pick that up on turn 3. So a decent opening hand. Mana Worm is missing, but that's not too big of a deal.
Still going ahead, pointing out the Sorcerer's Apprentice. There's a lot that the Sorcerer's Apprentice can do next turn if it stays up. It can make the Unstable Portal cheaper and play the Arcane Missiles in the same turn. So this Mad Scientist is extremely threatening. Oh, perfect. You don't really want to go for Arcane Missiles here. If you miss, you get punished a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this blast makes it much easier. Wow, that's actually the perfect
That's perfect.
You can use the 1 mana after.
Yeah.
So
it's also one of the most valuable 4-drops.
That's true. You get the spare part
Yeah.
for your Flamewaker.
That's probably the best card that they could have gotten from Unstable Portal if they wanted to play something this turn.
Yeah, it might make sense to wait.
Maybe Shredder.
Because if it's Explosive Trap, you don't want to play the Yeti first.
Yeah. And they know that they're going to go into Freezing Trap with that Sorcerer's Apprentice anyway.
So it doesn't matter to play Yeti first if there. So.
Nice sequencing.
Yeah, nice sequencing there.
Shredder.
This is so much tempo. Usually you feel really good about dropping a Freezing Trap into a 4-drop, but this is just the Tempo Mage. It's not exactly a 4-drop. It was almost cheated out in a way.
Yeah.
it was a turn 2.
Cheating!
Turn 2.
Unstable Portal is cheating.
Turn 2 Mechanical Yeti.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. So it doesn't feel nearly as good, but...
I mean, they could just... I guess leaving it up is not really the best option. Like leaving the Freezing Trap up, they could throw in their Flamewaker the next turn if they want to preserve more power.
If they're pretty sure about this secret, I'd actually prefer not attacking. Attacking also punishes you if it's Bear Trap, since the Bear can very likely threaten your Flamewaker. Another thing is, it's actually Flamewaker is a better card to return than the Yeti, because what you can do is you can cast your spells, get the value from Flamewaker, then return the Flamewaker, so you have a stronger minion to trade. So I kind of like this play of not proccing the Freezing Trap, and just keeping the Yeti on board still. JMU is taking a nice tempo lead. This matchup is very heavily decided who wins the early game, so JMU is in great shape. Not a great move for Laval here. There's no move that would necessarily deal with anything super cleanly. Looks like they decided to go for the Hunter's Mark. Not a super efficient one, but it's a good move because they kill the Flamewaker super high with the threat target, and also they develop the bow with the trap up. So.
Yeah.
Getting quite a bit of synergy there still.
So this is a bit rough. JMU forced once again to not attack, and they know that their Sorcerer's Apprentice is most likely going to get dealt with, and this gives Laval sort of an opportunity to come back in this game. They do have the Knife Juggler Snake Trap combination as well, so... Or Animal Companion. Notice the board with Snake Trap. JMU will be tipped off that it is something besides Freezing Trap, as both Freezing Traps have already been used so far this game, if they attack into it the next turn, or if the secret is played this turn. So
Sorcerer's Apprentice is a very forcing minion because they could have waited to get more value from their Eagle Horn bow after the trap procs, but Sorcerer's Apprentice is a very scary minion to leave up. It can go crazy with things like missiles and Unstable Portal and Arcane Intellect, so they didn't want to leave up Sorcerer's Apprentice.
And now George Mason is in a rough spot, because they might be falling behind a little bit. Even Laval's a little bit lower on resources. Granted,
this
they do have a lot of value, and now the tempo is sort of in their favor with the trap.
Yeah, it shows how powerful Freezing Trap is for tempo and things like Hunter's Mark, because the combination of Freezing Trap Bow and Hunter's Mark really allowed Laval to take back the board lead. And again, any time in this matchup one player gets a board lead, it's very hard for other players to come back. Once the minions stop trading, because you're ahead enough on board where they can just go face,
Yeah.
That's when it's becoming like really rough for you, because the face damage is extremely hard to recover from in this matchup. So if you don't get punished for going face, they can just give that damage.
So just decide to go for the asterisk. What a pickup for Laval. Savannah Hyman on turn 6.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering if they're even going to play the High Main, because
why not? They're
Shredder
protected by the freezing trap.
Pretty good. I guess. I mean, either way, though, the Shredder would be deals almost as much damage, and yeah, I mean, this is it's good.
Yeah. I don't know if there's a world where Savannah Hyman on 6 is not good.
Yeah.
Unless you have another Savannah Hyman. You play that one.
Yeah.
Well, now just gonna try and flood the board. Hopefully they can proc the freezing trap next turn without too much of a downside.
Yeah, 2 small minions. An interesting thing here for Laval is they can actually just forget about killing all the small minions. They might have enough damage to push through the game. And another thing they can do is combo Snake Trap here. So they can just say, forget about the freezing trap. We're just gonna smork you down and then play Snake Trap as well. I mean, there's too many minions now to kill individually, right? So maybe we'll just see Snake Trap, and
Snake Trap just jammed down, and a little bit of smork going on.
Yeah, at least that punishes your opponent for trading Snake Trap. So, and you do have more damage on board. It's unlike that Mage would race you down.
You're a little weaker to Flame Strike in that case.
Yeah.
So they might like play the Shredder and try and make some trades, but seems like applying the pressure feels pretty good. Ooh, Shredder on the far right. Of course, it's always better to put Shredder in the middle of your creatures, especially with incentivizing on the left side of the Savannah High Main if you're going to put it on one end or the other, so that when the Hyena spawn, if you get something like a Direwolf Alpha or like a Flame Tongue Totem, you can get value out of it.
Wow. This is actually interesting. They prioritized this in the freeze trap. It makes sense because it's more important right now to get out the second mirror entity than to keep the mechanical Yeti on board. Really smart move by GMU. A little bit of an optimization there that a lot of people might not see.
Especially since they know that one of the cards sitting in the hand is that High Main.
That's probably a good reason to do it.
They saw that Joust from the King Zealot, so it gave them that bit of information. So now they're forcing Laval into a situation where they have to have another creature, or else they can't play the Savannah High Main because it's too risky.
Oh,
that's a great creature.
I was gonna say, as a hunter here, as Laval, you could just slam down High Main and go face anyways, because High Mains trade with other High Mains kind of slowly since the death rattles. And since you do have the tempo lead, you could still technically just go for it.
Yeah, we learned that from the Lion King.
Much better alternative after picking up the creeper. Perfect top deck. Now it just might be too little too late here. Too much damage from a hunter. Very hard to remove High Mains. It's one of the best cards in the game.
Yeah, Polymorph would be the best way, but Temple Mages usually don't run any copies of Polymorphs. Would be an interesting tech card to include, but looks like they are just going to go for the Archmage, Antonidas, and Arcane Missiles. Probably need to trade into this high damage, low health Savannah High Main in order to...
I wouldn't be surprised if GM uses races, exactly. Wow. Because they have to realize that there's no way they're trading with these High Mains anyways. Even if you kill a 6 attack High Main and turns into 2 2/2s, you're only reducing 2 damage.
Yeah.
Going from 6 to 4. And with this Archmage, you can effectively say that hopefully this mid-range hunter doesn't have all his burn in his hand and he draws more minions like this, and we can force him to trade, because we're actually threatening lethal now with Archmage in the Fireball chain combined with these Shredders. So yeah, this is a really good move. They actually realize that they can just take the lead in the race if they're willing to take some risks, because this is the only way they can win, and just Now they're forcing Laval to trade. Dr. Boom is still an amazing pickup, though, because
They don't really have room for it, though.
you can just trade.
If you trade into the Archmage Antonitis, you fill up your board with 5 creatures, so you only get 1 Boom Bot.
They could trade the Master Armorsmith, maybe.
Master Swordsmith?
Swordsmith.
A Master Armorsmith would be a young priestess.
Okay, it's okay. Still play Doctor.
Yeah. And
this is probably going to be the face. Again, Shredder, Archmage is an easy minion to kill since it doesn't have Death Rattle, it's a high threat target. These Creepers and Shredders are too sticky. You know, since they're not really threatening lethal, it's better to just race here. Again, this is a situation, just because of all the Death Rattle minions, it takes too long to trade with other Death Rattle minions. It's just really incentivizes both players to just go face.
And with that, Georgia Mason is going to go ahead and concede, and Laval picks up their first victory.